Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation. Today, we'll be exploring the story of the little girl. This is our cover slide, so I just want to briefly introduce what's coming up. We'll be diving into her story, understanding her journey, and discovering the lessons she has to offer. So, let's get started and see where her story takes us. Now, let's take a closer look at the contents of our presentation. We start with an introduction to set the stage for what's to come. Then, we'll explore the evening routine, which gives us insight into daily life and habits. Moving on, we reflect on other fathers, offering different perspectives and experiences. Next, we focus on understanding her father, which helps us see the story from her point of view. Following that, we'll discuss Kezia's perception of her father, which is central to understanding her feelings and relationship with him. Then, we'll look at a birthday gift gone wrong, a pivotal moment that reveals deeper emotions. After that, we'll explore an unexpected night, adding a twist to the story and showing how events unfold unexpectedly. Finally, we'll open the floor for questions and answers, giving us a chance to clarify and discuss everything in detail. All these points are interconnected, building a complete picture of the themes of perception, relationships, and understanding. This structure will help us see how each element contributes to the overall message of the presentation. Welcome to our third slide, where we begin to explore the story itself. The story centers around a young girl named Kezia, who is our main character. As we follow her journey, you'll notice how the story highlights the special relationship between children and their parents. This bond is built on love, trust, and understanding, and it's a theme that runs throughout the entire narrative. It's important to see how Kezia's experiences reflect the universal connection many children share with their parents. This slide sets the stage for us to understand the depth and significance of these family relationships, which are at the heart of the overall story. Kezia was just a little girl, and like many children, she had a certain perception of her father. She was afraid of him, and in her mind, he was like a giant. She imagined his hands and neck as big, almost overwhelming, and his mouth was very large too. Because of this, she usually tried to avoid him whenever she could. She thought he was very cruel, which made her feel nervous around him. Despite her fears, her father did have a routine. He worked in an office, and every morning he would leave for work. Before he left, he would come into her room and give her a casual kiss, a small gesture of affection. He would then go to his office in a carriage. Interestingly, Kezia felt a strange sense of happiness when her father had left for work. It's as if her fears and the distance she felt from him made her feel more comfortable. This perception of her father is an important part of understanding her childhood experience and how she viewed her family relationships, which ties into the larger theme of perception and understanding within families. Now let's talk about the evening routine in Kezia's world. When her father comes home in the evening, the atmosphere changes. He speaks loudly, filling the house with his voice. This loudness makes Kezia feel uneasy. She's afraid of how she might be scolded or misunderstood. Her mother, showing care and routine, asks her to go and take off her father's shoes. When Kezia enters his room, she notices that he looks at her sternly. That stern look makes her think that her father is a hard-hearted person. This part of the story helps us see how Kezia perceives her father's character, and how the evening routine reveals the emotional distance she feels. It ties into the overall theme of understanding and compassion, reminding us that appearances and first impressions can sometimes hide deeper feelings and stories. Today, I want to share a story about a birthday gift that didn't go as planned. Kezia, a young girl, decided to make a special pincushion for her father's birthday. She was excited to give him something she made herself. To stuff the pincushion, she needed some paper, so she looked for some in her father's room. Unfortunately, she found some sheets of paper that her father had written an important speech on. Without realizing the significance, she tore the sheets to fill her pincushion. This mistake made her father very angry. He was upset because the paper contained something valuable, his important speech. In his anger, he took a stick and severely scolded her. He told her she shouldn't touch anything that didn't belong to her. This reaction made Kezia cry bitterly, feeling hurt and confused. She started to wonder why God had made fathers, especially when they could be so harsh. From that moment, she began to tremble at the sight of her father, feeling scared and unsure. This story highlights how misunderstandings and actions, even with good intentions, can lead to pain. It's a reminder that love and patience are so important in our relationships, especially with those who are supposed to protect and guide us. So here I want to talk about Kezia's reflections on other fathers. One day, she saw her neighbor, Mr. McDonald, playing happily with his children. They all looked very joyful and connected. Now, this scene made Kezia think differently about fathers. She realized that there are different kinds of fathers in the world. Some, like Mr. McDonald, are warm and playful. But she also thought about her own father, who is very different, more strict and sometimes cruel. This contrast helped Kezia understand that not all fathers show love in the same way. It also connects to the overall theme of how we perceive love and kindness in family relationships. It shows us that our experiences shape how we see the world and those around us. After a few days, Kezia's mother became ill, which was a worrying time for everyone. Her grandmother had to take her to the hospital to get her the care she needed. During this period, Kezia was left alone in the house with the nurse, which was a new and sometimes frightening experience for her. She had to sleep alone in her bedroom, and that night, she had a very frightening dream. In her dream, she saw a butcher with a knife, and it was a terrifying image that made her feel very scared. She cried out loudly in her sleep, and her father heard her. He came into her room quickly, lifted her up, and took her to his own bed. Kezia felt safe and protected lying beside her father, which shows how important a sense of security is for children, especially during difficult times. This story highlights how unexpected events can bring fear, but also how love and protection from family can help children feel safe again. It ties into our overall theme of resilience and the importance of support during tough moments. Now, let's move to understanding her father. As I describe this scene, imagine a tired father who has just finished a long day at work. He's so exhausted that he falls asleep before his daughter even has a chance to spend time with him. Meanwhile, she's left alone with her thoughts, feeling a mix of emotions. She notices that her father works very hard every single day, coming home only in the evening. By then, he's too tired to play with her, which makes her feel guilty, as if she's somehow responsible for tearing those important papers. But as she reflects more deeply, she begins to see things differently. She realizes that her father isn't a bad person at all. In fact, she recognizes that he has a big, loving heart. This moment of understanding is crucial because it shows us how empathy and perspective can change how we see others, especially those we love. It ties back to the overall theme of the presentation, reminding us that understanding and compassion are key to building stronger relationships. Now, let's move on to the questions and answers section. I'll walk you through some common questions and the key points to remember. First, someone asked, "What made Kezia's father punish her, and was he right to do so?" The answer is that Kezia's father had written a speech on some papers, and Kezia made a pincushion for his birthday, using some of those papers as stuffing. Because of that, her father punished her, but it's important to note that he was not right to beat her. Instead, he could have helped her understand her mistake with love and kindness. Next, someone wondered, why did the little girl start making the pincushion? Well, Kezia was feeling cold and was kept indoors. Her grandmother suggested she could make a gift for her father's upcoming birthday, so she decided to make the pincushion as a thoughtful present. Another question was, what did she stuff it with, and why was that important for her father? Kezia found some torn pieces of paper in her father's room and used them as stuffing. This was very significant because those papers contained an important speech, but she didn't realize their importance at the time. There was also a question about what Kezia saw when she looked through a hole in the fence into Mr. McDonald's garden. She saw Mr. McDonald happily playing with his children, running around flower beds, with baby Mao on his shoulders, and the two little girls hanging onto his coat pockets. They all looked very happy. We also discussed her father's departure for work in the morning. He left early, but before going, he came into Kezia's room, gave her a kiss, and she said goodbye to him, showing their loving bond. And when her father returned home in the evening, it was a lively, noisy scene. He raised his voice a bit on entering, but her mother asked Kezia to help by taking off his shoes, highlighting the warmth and routine of family life. These questions help us understand Kezia's world, her feelings, and her relationship with her father, which ties into the overall theme of love, understanding, and family bonds.